Hello, it's me. So there's been a lot of things going around Veilguard. I myself have reacted to it and basically I've said my piece about Veilguard. Yet I wanted to also give it the chance I think it kind of deserves. So I actually did play the game myself in order to foster my own opinion of the game without any other outside influences affecting my judgment. So let's start first. As a game, it's fine. The game is fine. As a standalone game, if it didn't have the Dragon Age name attached to it, I'd probably give it maybe a 6.5 at max. The problem begins, I think it's threefold. The first problem is the writing. It's abhorrently bad. Not at all times, there are kind of sections where the dialogue flows in a good way, natural way. Mostly these are sections with solas included or Varric included. That's the first thing, the dialogue. The second thing is probably the huge change in gameplay. And what I mean by this is the change in how your companions work, how you work, and how enemies and the enemy AI work. Mainly, the enemies will fight and they will focus on you. And that means if you have some enemies which prefer melee and you're a mage, expect 3 to come at you at a time. Which could have been fine if you also were allowed to issue more in-depth commands to your companions. The other problem with that is when your allies don't really have a way to die, they don't really have a way to interact other than through the AI auto-attacking and by your decree using a skill, kind of takes away a lot of the impact that you normally have in these Dragon Age games. For example, the dragon fights in Inquisition can sometimes be incredibly difficult depending on the level you are when you fight these dragons. And it's so incredibly cool. You fight as yourself and you're downed, shit, you switch to another one, they get downed, or maybe they are already downed and you have one guy left. Or you have your ultimate, you pop it, you win by a sliver. And it's such a satisfying feeling, especially when you can manually combine what they're each going to do, what enemy they're going to focus on. It's so much deeper in so many ways that I can't really even begin to understand how they think this would justify removing that feature entirely. The combat itself, there are many options, especially to you yourself, but those options are hampered by the fact that you really can't do anything outside of that, almost. I'd rather have it the other way around, that you couldn't do as much yourself, but as a team you could control them more, at least order them more in depth than you currently can. It's very, very basic. The most core problem with this game, I feel like, is that it's so apparent that the people that made this game and the people that made Dragon Age Origins are worlds apart. Not only in terms of skill, not only in terms of actual experience, but they are so far apart in terms of the way they see and look upon Dragon Age. I have played a few hours myself, trying to build my own opinion, and then I actually, because I felt already that I wouldn't play this game the entire way through, so I looked up the endings. There are multiple endings, which I greatly appreciate, and depending on your choices in the game, you can get different endings. I have always liked that. However, problem arises when the secret ending, the most, I think, true ending, in which they completely turn every game before upside down in terms of storytelling and the reasoning behind pretty much every bad guy. And it's done in such a fucking lazy way. The most lazy way you can imagine. If you don't want spoilers, here I put the spoilers here. So I'm gonna talk about shortly the ending of the game. Spoilers! If you want to play this game, do it yourself. Taking a short little snippet from Inquisition and maybe another storybook or something outside of the game, and then using that and a certain group of hooded figures that have always controlled every bad guy's move. They have always influenced every decision. Really? who fucks up the entire thing. Loghain from the first game is such a complex and well-written character that it's even hard to explain why he is so well written. He has his reasons and it's so obvious and it's so in character. It makes complete and total sense why he would betray the king in the first huge battle of the game. It makes perfect sense. And to then reduce that to some hooded figures and influenced his decisions, it's really a slap in the face. I know I've heard tales that they aren't going to do any DLCs, and the player count on Steam is quite high actually. I think the peak was 80,000 or something. Nice, but I doubt that this game will break even. I don't want people to lose their jobs, but maybe it's for the best. I'm just saying. And I'm just putting this out there. This is just completely my opinion. I don't care about your opinion. Dislike this video if you want. I do not care. This is my opinion. I mean, let's take this for example. So if we just take this as an example, we go on Metacritic. I know it's not the most credible source ever, but we'll jump into each of these. The Metascore is 79 by PC. It is 84, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, it's 93. Universal acclaim, generally favorable, and generally favorable. But if we switch to user reviews on all of these, and I know they aren't the most, 2.3, 3.7, and 3.8. This game really doesn't deserve a 2.3, but as a Dragon Age game, I wouldn't give it more than 4. And the reason is, as I've told you before, it's just so lazy. It's not a Dragon Age game. It could have been another RPG entirely and it wouldn't have made a difference. And at this point I'm just tired of talking about this game because it makes me so disappointed. And I think I wanted to get it out of my system a bit, and I'm glad some people do appreciate and enjoy this game. I don't. It's just the way it is, so I hope you can understand. It will probably show up on my most disappointing game on the list at the end of the year, so look forward to that if you like what I do. We'll see what the fate of Bioware is soon enough, I think. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.